My priest warned me. He said some doors are meant to stay shut. The church forbids Ouija boards for a reason, he told me. Not because they're silly, but because they work. And sometimes, something else answers. I didn't listen. I should have. Because now, whatever is wearing my son's face is upstairs, and I don't know how much longer I have before it realizes that I know. After Liam died, the silence in this house became unbearable. It wasn't just grief. It was heavier than that. Like the air itself had turned thick, like sadness had sunk into the walls. Every floorboard creak sounded like him. Every gust of wind outside felt like his laugh trying to come back. I couldn't take it anymore. Father Michael came by a lot after the funeral. He was kind, calm, said prayers with me in the living room, gave me holy water, a rosary, blessed candles, everything short of an exorcism. He kept saying Liam was at peace, that I should let go. But I didn't want peace. I wanted Liam. One afternoon, I broke down, told him what I was thinking, what I'd been reading online, a way to talk to him. Just one last goodbye. The second I said the word Ouija, the warmth vanished from Father Michael's face. He told me, "When you use that board, you're shouting into a dark forest, hoping your son answers. But you have no control over what answers back." I heard him, but grief has a way of muting good advice. That night, I lit 3 candles, placed the board on the kitchen table and whispered his name. "Liam, are you here?" Nothing. At first, then, slowly, the planchette moved. "Hi." I started crying. I wanted it to be real so badly. Then it spelled, "I miss you, and I'm okay." It knew everything. His favorite snack, his favorite joke, the little story he made up about how the moon was Earth's nightlight. It remembered it all. I thought it was him. So I kept talking to it, every night, alone. But slowly, something changed. The air in the house started to feel wrong, like it didn't want me here anymore. I'd hear whispers at night, when the board was locked away in the closet. I'd see shadows, child-sized, darting past the hallway. And the board? It got possessive. Didn't want me to leave the house. Didn't want me to see friends. Didn't want me talking to Father Michael. It wanted me to stay, with him. Then, last Tuesday, I brought up Liam's baptism, told the board how Father Michael joked the water must have been too cold because Liam screamed so loud. The planchette froze. Then it spelled N-O. Then, I don't remember. My stomach dropped. That was Liam's favorite story. He laughed about it all the time. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the rosary Father Michael had given me, held it over the board. The planchette flew across the room, hit the wall so hard it cracked, and in the corner of the kitchen, the shadow became solid, just for a second. It wasn't Liam, it was trying to be, but the arms were too long, the legs bent wrong, the skin stretched like a mask. Its face wore his smile, but it wasn't him. That night, everything shattered. It still looks like Liam, still calls me Dad, still plays with his toys, but it's watching me now, closer, waiting for me to forget what I saw. I haven't left this chair since it happened. I hear it upstairs, footsteps, laughter, almost perfect. But now I know the truth, and I think it knows that I know. I'm not sharing this for sympathy. I don't care if you believe me. I just want to know, has this happened to anyone else? Have you used a Ouija board and brought back something that wasn't what it claimed to be? If you have, tell me in the comments. Please, just let me know I'm not alone. And if you want to hear what happens next, subscribe. But please, whatever you do, don't talk to the dead. they might not be the ones answering. We thought it was just a game. We were so wrong. This is the story of the night we asked a Ouija board to prove it was real. And it did. Like most horror stories that shouldn't have happened. This one started in a basement. 6 friends. Nothing to do. Just bored teenagers and a creepy old box my buddy found while cleaning out his parents' storage. It was a Ouija board, covered in dust. Cheap plastic planchette. Worn letters. It looked like it came straight from the 80s. Might as well have said, made by Mattel. None of us believed in ghosts. We were proud skeptics, smart, rational. We even talked about the ideomotor effect. You know, the idea that your subconscious moves the planchette without realizing it. Cool explanation. So of course, we decided we'd test it. We turned off the basement lights, left one single bulb hanging from the ceiling, and sat in a circle around the board. Everything felt like a joke. At first, the planchette slid around a little, spelled out nonsense. We accused each other of cheating, laughed it off. But then, Mark, the biggest skeptic of all, leaned forward and said the words I'll never forget. Okay, if something is really here, prove it. Do something we can't fake. Do something real. That's when everything changed. The air shifted, like the oxygen got sucked out of the room. It wasn't cold. It was wrong. Heavy, watching. None of us moved. No one laughed. Then the planchette jerked. Fast. L-O-O-K. A long pause. Then it kept going. B-E-H-I-N-D. Look behind. No one moved. Not at first. Then someone nervously chuckled, trying to break the tension. Ooh, spooky. Look behind you. So we did. We turned around. Same cracked concrete wall as always. Same shadows from the bulb overhead. We started counting. 1, that's me. 2, Sarah. 3, Mike. 4, 5, 6. And then we saw it. 7. A 7th shadow. Tall, thin, distorted. It wasn't touching any of us. It didn't match a body. It just stood there. Wrong. Its limbs too long. The angles, off. We stared at it. And it just stood there. No movement. No sound. We all saw it. Every one of us. And we all knew. There were only 6 people in that room. We didn't speak. We didn't check. We didn't stay. We ran. Tripped over blankets. Knocked over the board. Someone hit the light on the way out. We didn't go back down. Not that night. Not ever. We deleted the footage. I know. That part sounds fake. But I think we were scared to even look at it. Because what if it showed something worse? I still think about that shadow. About what we might have let in. Was it a trick of the light? A group hallucination? Or did we get what we asked for? Real proof, I don't have answers. Only the memory of how cold that basement felt, and how sharp the silence became. And that shadow, standing just long enough for us to know we weren't imagining it. So what do you think? Did we imagine it? Or did we invite something we couldn't understand? Tell me in the comments. And if you like stories like this, subscribe, like, hit the bell. You know what to do. But whatever you do, don't ask for proof unless you're ready to see it. I always thought Ouija board stories were just that. Stories. The kind you whisper at sleepovers to scare your friends. But what happened to me and my little sister? It was real. Terrifyingly real. We were just kids, grieving, lost. Our grandmother had just died, and the house felt hollow without her. Especially for Chloe. She was only 9, and she missed Grandma so much it physically hurt to watch. Then one rainy afternoon, she came down from the attic holding something wrapped in an old bedsheet. A Ouija board. One of those old Parker Brothers sets. Yellowed, cracked, like it had history. She looked up at me and said, "Maybe we can talk to Grandma, just to say we miss her." I didn't believe in any of that stuff, but I believed in Chloe, and I couldn't say no. That night, we lit a couple vanilla candles, sat cross-legged in the living room, and placed the board between us on the coffee table. "Is anyone there?" I whispered. Nothing. Silence. Just candlelight flickering on the walls. Then, it twitched, the planchette. Chloe's eyes locked with mine. "I didn't move it," she mouthed. It started sliding, slowly. A-L-A-C-H-I, Malachi. We froze. That wasn't Grandma's name. And then, the temperature dropped, fast. I could see my breath, inside the house. I leaned in, voice shaking. "Who is Malachi?" The planchette slammed to one word. "No." We asked again. Same answer. "No." Chloe started crying. This wasn't sadness anymore. This was fear. I told her we were done. This was a mistake. As I blew out one of the candles, we heard a sound, shattering glass. We turned around. A thick glass candle holder from the mantel had launched itself across the room and slammed into the wall. It missed me by inches, wax and shards everywhere. We screamed, ran, left the board on the table and didn't go back for it that night. But the terror came with us. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt like something was right there watching me. Sometimes I'd hear whispers right up against my ear, and when I turned on the light, nothing. Chloe started seeing shadows, at first just in her periphery, but then closer, clearer. We weren't safe, not in that house, not even in our own beds. We didn't tell our parents. How could we? They'd never believe us. So one night, after a full week of fear, we took the board into the backyard. I broke it into 7 pieces. Chloe poured lighter fluid all over it, and we lit it up. We stood there in the dark, watching it burn until it was ash. That night, no whispers, no shadows, no cold, just silence. The haunting stopped when we destroyed the board, but the fear stayed with us. Even now, years later, I think about that name, Malachi. We went looking for comfort, for closure, for Grandma, but we invited something else in, and I will never, ever touch a Ouija board again. Not after what we saw. Thanks for listening. If you've ever had something like this happen, something you can't explain, drop it in the comments. I need to know we're not the only ones. And if you want to hear more real stories just like this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and don't ever open a door you can't close.